Hello everyone, Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. I'm just sitting here. It's 4 o'clock now in the afternoon, and I'm sitting here now having a rest, doing a bit of knitting, being in my garden most of the day. My granddaughter's partner Craig came up to help doing my garden today, and he's been doing all the trimming, cut the grass, and I was cutting the little bits of my hedge that I had missed because I did it on Sunday. I cut the hedge on Sunday, and the hedge is up against a fence, and we can't get those little bits right at the very back. The hedge trimmer doesn't go that far, so I have to cut those by hand. So while he was doing that, I was cutting all that, and then I went around with some weed killer and was killing off spraying all the weeds that's starting to come back. And I asked Craig if he'd have a look outside my garden. I have an area outside the garden. We have a cycle path runs down alongside my back garden, the Reverse cycle path. And we used to have it used to be like a little lawn on either side of my gate, on my fence, or all along the outside of my fence. And I used to keep it cut with my lawnmower. Well, when the people came and laid the cycle path for the Reverse cycle path, they laid a lot of stones as well. And those stones got kicked onto the grass outside my garden. And the last time I cut it, I said I wasn't ever going to cut it again, because my lawnmower picked up one of those stones and it shot back into my leg. It was like being shot in the leg. That stone was stuck in my leg nearly through to the bone, and it took about 3 months for that wound to heal on my leg, and I've never cut outside the garden since. And well, I use that back gate because we have a railway line runs along behind the trees as well, and we have a crossing on the railway line, and that takes us to some shops, or to do some shopping up there. So I do use the back gate for to go out, and if I want to have a walk around, we have a lot of nice, with the cycle path and a lot of other like paths to walk along. I like to have a nice walk sometimes. And when I went out the other day, the weeds were so high and so bad. They were just crossing over the front of where the gate was, and I had to step over all those weeds and nettles and everything to get out of my garden. So I asked Craig, that's Cheryl's partner, if he'd have a look and see if he could cut the outside for me with the strimmer. Just use the strimmer would be best. Well, it was so thick and that, and it's okay, the strimmer was okay for grass, but the thicker things, like some of the plants that were growing out there, were too strong for the strimmer, and they were just wrapping around it and getting all tied up around and under the thing. It was getting all clogged up. So he said he's going to see a friend of his who's got a petrol strimmer, and probably do it with that for me. So I've had quite a busy day, and after Craig went, I've just sat down, had a cup of tea, and got my knitting out. You don't realise until you get to my age what hard work it is doing things in your garden. I used to do all these things when I was young. I'd be in the garden all day, and in the summer, as long as it was light, I used to be out in the garden doing things, but I just can't do things like that anymore. Usually a couple of hours and my back's breaking. So I thought I'd sit down and get a bit more of Angela's cardigan done. I'm not quite up to the armholes. I think I've got about another inch to do, and I'll be up to the armholes, and then I'll move a little bit faster once I cast off some of the stitches and decrease some of the stitches. And I was at my bingo last night, and me and my friend did win a little bit, but not as much as what it cost us. But we still had a good night. We'll be back to normal next week. We knew it was a waste of time going tonight with England playing Denmark, that all the fellas would be in watching the football anyway. So we did win a little bit, and it took us ages. We were playing the player cards, right? And nobody could get it. It just went on and on and on, and we're done everybody. We have a raffle ticket, and we picked that the raffle ticket out for each person who was to have a go at it. And we must have went around about 4 times, and just nobody could get it. Some of us were, well, I was very near. The last card stumped me, and practically everybody else. We gave up at the finish and decided that the money we had collected for the player card, right, we'd just have one game of bingo with it, and everybody play bingo, and whoever gets the house will get the money that was intended for the player card, right, because we'd have been there all night. It was just one of those games that nobody could win. But it was still a good night. You had a little bit later, because we went a little bit later as well, with 1 or 2 of the girls working and not being able to get there till around about 7. But we did get home a little bit later, and like I usually have to do around my the detour that with the roadworks on the A1. The roadworks on the A1, they're widening the roads, I think, doing something like that, and it's been going on until about August 2022. So I've still got that to look forward to every week. But at least next week when we go will be the last week that we have to wear the masks, and we won't have to sign in anymore, because all the restrictions have been lifted. And am I glad about that? I hate wearing those masks. When you wear glasses, it's not so bad, but in the colder weather, it was terrible how we were glasses. As soon as you went in shopping, even anywhere, into the pub, you came out of the cold into the warm, and your glasses just steamed up and couldn't see a thing. And we had to sign in when we went to the bingo. And I couldn't see to sign on my glasses, to sign in. My glasses were just all thinking up, and I say something, I'm going to have to take this mask off, as I cannot sign in, I cannot see through my glasses. So that's one thing I'm happy about. And I think a lot of other people will be as well. And there's no social distancing anymore. We don't need a social distance or wear masks in the shops anymore. Life might be going back to normal. Don't know how long it'll last though, because of all these cases that's coming up. But at least it's not making more work for the hospitals, and that there's not as many in hospitals with these new cases because of everybody having the jabs and that. So that's my little bit for today, and I'm going to sit down and finish off this knitting and make myself some tea later, and sit down and watch a television while I'm knitting as well at the same time. So that's it for now. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll let you see whatever else I get up to. And if anybody's watching the match tonight, keep your fingers crossed that England wins against Denmark. Well, anyone in the UK, that is. I don't suppose other countries is probably bothered unless they're in the World Cup themselves, like. So Bye for now.